What some of you might not know is in 2006, Steve was in a severe workplace accident.
And it was near fatal. He was told he'd never walk again. He's always proven that wrong.
Our director of safety here, he's our passionate, tireless leader, really guiding us on our journey through our safety culture and our program of making sure we're industry leading. Challenging the myth of invincibility and promoting the philosophy of working to live but not living to work.
Good. Thank you. Okay, ready to go. Ready to
go. Following an inspiring comeback, he shares several important lessons. Trust your gut. Exercise your choice to do the right thing.
A saying he says to many of us, there's no new lessons to learn, but only new people to learn them. And something we're fortunate to have with Steve, and one of his gifts is his ability to tell stories. And he's going to share his story.
Please welcome Stephen Howe.
Steve Howe, you're up.
Okay. Please join me in welcoming Steve Howe.
Thank you.
My name's Steve Howe, and when I was 22 years old, I honestly believed it was never going to happen to me. I felt like I was Superman, invincible. It's going to happen to the rest of the world, but not me. I've got this world figured out. But then I got cut in half by an excavator.
The first feeling I felt was like electrocution bolts going through my body. Obviously, that's the nerve severing, right? And then from that, I looked down and I thought my legs caught on fire. Obviously they didn't. There was nothing combustible there, but your brain now looks and wonders why it feels like you're on fire. So you look down, and as I'm screaming saying stop, I realize my legs are now detaching from my body and I can see my boots both laying over here. So the helicopter came, and then a bunch of my friends there all trying to help me. They shut down the road for the entire day because they thought it was gonna be a fatality, so they were doing a full investigation. Get me in the helicopter, still awake through this whole thing. I felt like if I closed my eyes now, I might not ever open them again. So I tried to stay awake through that part, and as I felt ourselves starting to come down on the helipad at VGH in Vancouver, that's when I said, hey man, to Aaron, one of the paramedics, I said, I'm getting pretty tired. Can I go to sleep now? And he put his hand on me and he said, yeah, go ahead. And I just remember closing my eyes. And then that's when this journey really started. Being cut in half sucked, it hurt totally. But what I endured next is probably the biggest fearful thing that I have today in 2024. I'm more afraid to go into a coma again than to ever die. But that's the physical part. The emotional stuff almost took me over the edge. And the sad part was I was told, hey Steve, you get to have this for the rest of your life till you perish. And this is one of the hardest things that I dealt with mentally, emotionally. This is forever.
I didn't know that every decision and choice I make can and will affect so many people. It always impacts the ones you love the most first, always. And they have to pick up the slack for you, if you even are still here.
And this is the one I hope you keep thinking about every day in your life. The analogy that I use is the person that makes that poor choice, bad choice once in their life is like a rock. And when you throw a rock in water, what happens? What does it create? It creates ripples.
And the ripples are truly how many people it affects because of what you do. I created ripples all over the place, even financially, but I didn't have a counterweight. I had this false sense of security, is that if I ever did get hurt at work, that there was insurances in place that would look after me financially at least. And no one ever came to me and talked about disability insurance, life insurance, all the other type of products that are out there for insurance to truly help you. It took me out. And not only took me out, it affected my family. I had to leave the house that I was living in. No one wants to feel that feeling. No one wants to feel that pain, that uncertainty.
And I'll show you what I mean. Steve Howe made that bad decision. Goes down. Like I said earlier, it hurts the ones you love the most first. Always does. And I've come to the conclusion that unless you've been through something like this yourself or beside someone like this, you're not wired to think this way. And we'll go to work today and we'll go, hey, if I get hurt, there's a start date and there's an end date. I break my arm today, 6 weeks later, I'll be fine. Those are the lucky ones. The reality is when we make bad choices like we're going to talk about today, they're with you for the rest of your life till you take your last breath. And that's the part I feel we all take for granted.
You know, I took for granted breathing. And one thing I realized through this whole journey is that your next breath is not promised, it's a gift. The choices you make impact the people around you. I shouldn't be here today. And for some reason, I got a second chance. My goal and desire now is to inspire people.
And because I'm in good company, I'll tell you this little story here. I'm actually really close, pretty much call them best friends with the head surgeon that saved my life. Makes sense, we do so many surgeries together. And he's a world-renowned surgeon, you gotta remember that, world-renowned surgeon. And I look at him and I look at myself and I go, dude, I'm crooked. I got a 2-inch lift kit. And he goes, are you serious, Steve? He goes, you came to me out of a helicopter, we put your half your body there, grabbed your legs, put them on the table, and we went like this. Close enough, bolt them up.
Every time I speak, it doesn't matter if it's 20 people, 14,000 people, I see the power of community, all of us connecting and going through my story and journey together. Sometimes we'll laugh, sometimes we'll cry. What I observe when I share my story is the audience is energized.
It was years after years, from power wheelchair to manual wheelchair to crutches with 2 locking braces to trying taking one brace off to the next brace. And it was only like 3 years ago I unlocked my last brace and took my crutches off. It's been an 18-year journey, but it all started with the belief that I could do it. I personally believe that I can control my outcome, that if I want to walk again, I decide that. But how this works for all you insurance advisors, you believe that that product will be the counter wave in that ripple effect.
Well, you go first. Wow. I truly hope that inspired, if not all of you, at least many of you.
And you call with conviction that there is no other answer, but they need it. But I can't decide what door you pick. That's up to you.